Hi guys, thanks for watching out there. Andy here with a midweek look at the astrology. As I do this new weekly thing, I thought I'd do a midweek one if I could get on, and I can. So it's Wednesday, the 25th of April 2018. The moon entered Virgo last night, UK time, a little bit before that in other parts of the world. But basically, we have got a Virgo moon. Attention to detail, basically, is what happens now. People take a lot more interest in the little details of life, the things that actually you wouldn't think mattered, but matter to some people. They need to be looked at now, and it's important, really, to have some respect for the way other people look at things and the way other people do things. I'm sure we all have that, actually. I am simply pointing it out. As we come up to the weekend, it's an interesting time because the full moon is at 1:58 a.m. actually next Monday morning here in UK. But let me see, that is going to be, I believe, 5:58 p.m. on Sunday the 29th, Pacific coast of America and west side of Canada. I've got it. 8:58 p.m. Pacific. That's when it's going to happen. Full moon energy coming in. So the energy is building up and it's getting intense, but we're not actually there yet. Today, Mercury is going to square Saturn. Now, that is 9:28 a.m. Pacific, 12:28 a.m. Eastern Time. And here in UK, 17:28, right at the end of the working day when everyone's on their way home. Actually, I should say, when everyone's working a load of free extra hours for nothing because their boss is whatever he is. We're going to have that. Mercury's going to square Saturn. Mercury, the messenger of the gods, very much involved with communication and actually not retrograde at the moment, but still just in the post-shadow to Mercury retrograde. It's a time of reckonings, a time of things working out, a time of us coming to understand the lessons we're supposed to have been taught by the retrograde period. Anyway, enough about that, because Saturn is the planet most associated with our fears and the process of facing our fears, which is an important thing on the journey through life, to keep facing up to those, to keep moving forward. I can think of several people. I can think of one person I know in particular who faces every fear that's ever been thrown at her. She jumps out of aeroplanes and all sorts of things, and she has confident sort of happiness about her, which carries her forward all the time. And it's really good to face those fears. Don't let them pull you down. Don't let them hold you back. Saturn is actually retrograde at the moment in Capricorn, so it's very far from straightforward. That's gone on from the 17th of April and it'll go on till the 6th of September, so that's a long one. Jupiter is retrograde in Scorpio as well. That's gone on since the beginning of March, continues till July. But an interesting one, a really interesting one, on the 22nd of April, just a few days ago, Pluto went retrograde also in Capricorn and will be retrograde until the 30th of September. So we have Mars conjuncting Pluto, let me see, early in the morning here tomorrow, but on the west side of United States and Canada at 2300. Pacific time, Mars is going to conjunct Pluto, which is retrograde. So you've got the God of War thing going on. It's not always hostilities and that kind of thing, by the way. It tends to be pushing forward, getting things done. There's a lot of energy behind Mars. It can be incredibly positive as long as you're doing some kind of constructive project for all that energy to go into. So Mars conjuncts Pluto. And Pluto is retrograde. Now, when Pluto is retrograde, it's a different kind of retrograde to most of the other planets and the way they work. Pluto has a lot to do with the psychic senses. It's the ruling planet of Scorpio. Transformation, renewal, rebirth, but subconscious behaviours, and that's where the psychic side of things comes in. This is where it's best to see with the third eye rather than the round things at the top of your face, which only see the physical light. And the psychic senses do tend to be heightened quite a bit when Pluto is retrograde. In fact, Pluto becomes more Pluto than Pluto, really, during the retrograde time. Let's have a look. I did look up some Pluto facts. So it's in Capricorn, and the aspect basically involved in this Pluto retrograde are going to tried to be turning us into some kind of inner warrior. We are much less likely to just sit back and accept kind of going with the flow if the flow doesn't suit us. We are much more likely, after we've gone through this Pluto retrograde and possibly during it as well, we are much more likely to want to stand up, not just for ourselves, but for the other people that matter to us and the things that we believe in. And that is really important. It's something the world likes to discourage us from doing because, gosh, if we're thinking free, if we're thinking individually, no one's going to make much money out of us except us. We might get all the money, but hey, the rest of the world doesn't want that. Never mind money, I'm talking really about success and getting the things done that you want to do. And it's about fighting for that. It is important to fight for that. You are who you are for a reason. I'm who I am for a reason. Every one of us has got something we can do better than anyone else in the world, otherwise we wouldn't be here. I'm really sure of that. I believe that is an out there concept when I was younger, and as I've gone through life I've seen it proved again and again. So if your inner warrior is coming up against all kinds of considerations to do with what other people want and where other people want to push you, just don't have anything to do with that, basically, unless those people are very important to you and that is all part of your life, like your family or someone close. Then by all means do whatever you want to do, but make sure it's what you want to be doing. Make sure it's where you want to be heading. That's the main thing. Okay, on the weekend things change again because we do have the full moon coming up. I've already mentioned that, haven't I? I can't remember what I'm talking about now, so I think I probably better wrap it up. But let's have a quick look at spaceweather.com. Things are changing up there, basically. It's not a straightforward thing ever, spaceweather.com, because it is the laws of physics, and they are quite honest about the fact that things change that they're not expecting to change. But this is the cutting edge of our understanding of the universe and how it affects us through the solar flares, the solar wind, that kind of thing. The wind speed at the moment, 344.4 kilometers a second, which isn't much. The density of the protons, 3.3 per cubic centimeter. There is just one sunspot on the face of the sun at the moment, number 2706, stable magnetic field there, and there is no threat of solar flares, or not strong ones anyway. Nowhere on this page does it actually tell me there's about to be a G1 class geomagnetic storm, or any other kind for that matter, and the coronal hole on the face of the sun is facing much further away from us than it was a few weeks ago when we were really getting all that solar wind buffeting going on. So things are calming, things are quieting, and that's just as well because it's going to leave plenty of energy for the full moon, which I think is going to be quite an intense one. It comes up, as I say, in the wee small hours of Monday morning, and it is very much a full moon in Scorpio. Scorpios know how to have a good time, so I think it should be a fun one. I think it could be quite intense, but generally speaking, that's what it's all about. So I'm going to say thanks again for watching. I'll be here sometime around the weekend, Friday, I hope. It all depends on the internet, which still isn't brilliant, but is working at this moment, so I'm thankful for that. I look forward to seeing you on the weekend. Have a brilliant rest of the week, my friends. Keep it out there. Keep it Twig Brother. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and many thanks to everyone who has so far. Have a fantastic time. Bye-bye.